Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of From the Root to the Fruit. I'm your host, Jay Smith. Today's guest is a family member and also a wonderful human being. One of the things that she is most proud of in her life, genuinely, is her family. I'm going to assume she's specifically talking about me first. Probably not, but that's the way that I take it. Looking forward to sitting down with her, talking about life and everything else, and like all these other conversations, having some tough conversations and some hard things, as well as getting a kick out of it because we haven't talked to each other in a little bit. So sit back and enjoy Jesi Nobles. My sister cousin Jesi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's up?
Oh gosh, I love you so much. You are genuinely, you and Kels are two of my very favorite people in the planet. Like you just are good people. I love good people.
Well, we love you too. You know
I already know. I mean, but
that.
God. I really just I want to thank you so much for doing this. Obviously, we've gone back and forth on the will you, won't you, could you, let me see. So I'm excited to have you on. I want to talk about, first of all, like growing up. What was it like? I'm a part of your actual family, so
Yeah.
this
We
is
reeled you
exciting stuff. There are 20,000 people in your immediate family, so I
Yeah.
genuinely want to talk to you about this.
Well, they say we're like the gremlins or whatever. You sprinkle us with water and we just multiply. I mean, there's people in my family. I don't even know who they are. I'm like, they show up. I'm like, oh, who are you? And they're like, I'm your uncle's aunt's mother. I'm like, oh, okay. That's
Yes,
cool. Yeah.
yes,
It's constantly growing. But man, growing up was fun in such a large family. It's you were never ever really alone,
right,
ever alone. And it's more like instead of aunts and uncles, it's more like um, they were just extended mothers and fathers.
right.
So in some way that's kind of good. Because if I didn't want to talk to my mom or my dad, I always had someone else I could go to if I felt more comfortable with.
For
Uh,
sure.
yeah, uh, but the other part is that you didn't really get to be right, like kind of by yourself,
Right.
or you had to find a way to be alone sometimes. My brother Scott would know. He's kind of a loner.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how he managed that throughout our childhood, but
and
somehow
and
he
and,
did.
and I'm not underselling. I'm not underselling. Like there are 20,000 humans that
No,
are related to
there
you.
is. I'm blessed that your wife is one of them.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, and
uh,
and that, I mean, I'm not going to get into the recruiting scandal because you recruiting me into your family right now. I'm not going to get into that,
I think you're
but
good people. I mean, we gotta bring in the good.
I love
Uh,
it. I love.
yeah. But lots of troubles in families that are large like that. I can say for like I know for you, um, being an only child or being from a small family, coming into a family like that,
Yeah,
it's extremely intimidating. Um,
it's definitely different, and
and I
your
was
your uncles don't help. So
no,
shout out, insert an uncle.
yeah, right. Um, no, they can be extremely intimidating, especially for the male incoming males.
Yes, yes. If you have any reservations and you don't have your stuff situated, do not
No,
do
we'll
not.
find it. We'll find whatever.
They
that,
smell weakness on you. They
yes,
smell it. They smell
they
it on you.
do. But my wife was really no different. She didn't get thrown into any pools or anything like that, but still kind of got the third degree drilling per se. I think at one point she actually told me like, I'm not sure I can do this. Your family freaks me out. Um,
I'm not going to confirm nor deny. I may have said that very same phrase.
but ultimately, it's a lot of love. You know,
Yes.
it's a lot. It's a big loving family. For the most part, somebody's got your back. Uh, and growing up in that, it made my childhood a little easy. Growing
Okay.
up, kind of being different, I guess you could say. I don't know. I was allowed to be different. I guess I was allowed to be my genuine self.
Right.
Uh, there were not really any walls, any boundaries. I am married to a woman, right?
Right.
And um, a lot of people put you in a box. They put you in a box or they put a label on you. And um, my family never did that. So I was fortunate in that sense where I was never labeled. I was never put in a box. And to this day, I still kind of dislike that. The world puts me in a box because I'm married to a woman. They label me as a lesbian, right?
Right.
And that's not that's not how I grew up feeling.
Right.
I grew up knowing or feeling that I could just love a person, and it didn't
Right.
matter whether it was male or female. It was just the person for me. And my family never made me feel like that was wrong. um, I'm sure that there were aunts and uncles and cousins that didn't necessarily agree with my lifestyle choices.
All right.
Um,
Well, we
but
all
who gives a
right.
shit
Like
about that? I mean,
right. Like and we're all on that channel where your level of exposure dictates your level of acceptance
yeah.
in a lot of cases. So we all have some of that. Yeah.
But I think for me, um, having that, I mean, my grandmother, who, you know, growing up, you would think was probably one of the most conservative people you'd ever met. Very Roman Catholic, very, you know, um, grew up in a generation that was pretty close minded.
Yes.
Um, but, I'll never forget her telling me, just be you. Um, as she pulled on, I had a labrae piercing, as she pulled on my labrae piercing on my lip, saying, just be you, and me screaming internally because it hurt. But, having that come from a generation that, we were taught was just so blind to a lot of things that we deal with
Right.
today and that we've dealt with growing up. So I was fortunate in that, that definitely gave me strength, and like internally gave me strength to be me and to not be afraid to be me. And so many people in my life just encouraged that. Your wife being one of them, she always accepted me no matter what. And finding people like that in your life and hanging on to them
Oh yeah.
is just, it's a blessing. I mean, there's a lot of people in the world that don't get that kind of life, especially in my shoes, where they come out as gay or bi or whatever,
Right.
and a lot of their family kind of, kicks them to the curb and drop kicks them in, and they have these horrible stories. And I'm fortunate enough that I didn't have that. I didn't really give my family much choice either. It's kind of like, here's me, deal with it. But
there is some right, like there is some liberation, for
yeah,
lack of a right, when your grandmother's like, hey, do this thing, do this life thing your way on your terms and how you feel, and let it be what it is. I feel like that, not for nothing, but that kind of helps you from a jumping off point, because even for me, getting educated. Like once we're close anyway, but
Yeah.
sitting down and having conversations with my wife and our kids and so forth, because I'm very much old school in that mentality in a lot of ways, but being educated in as to some of the challenges and discrimination and things of that nature that you and people of that ilk and so forth kind of go through. Like I didn't know that. What, like you don't know what you don't know, but now there's no exception for being ignorant about something that's beneficial to everyone. Like I genuinely feel like everyone should be able to love whoever I love whoever the hell I want to love. So why can't anybody else get, you should have the same opportunities. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I mean the life is hard sometimes. I mean, it's not an easy life. Um, but for me, I didn't feel like I had a choice in the
Right.
sense where I met Kelly, and she was just the one. She was just the person. She was my person, and I didn't think about at the time. You don't really think about life possible consequences from outside influences.
Right.
you know, I had before. I mean, God, many years ago, got beat up for holding a girl's hand, and
Where was
and
I
it
at?
wasn't. No, in a small little podunk town in North Carolina.
Oh, okay. I'm like, where the hell was I at for this?
No, this is
We
this is
gotta go.
this is I was young, pre
Oh,
J.
okay. 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 I'm with
And
you. I'm
and
like,
honestly,
where?
most people, I don't tell that story very often, just because um, it was kind of a wake up moment for me, um, as far as, again, talking about family, as far as how I was raised and believed. And
Okay.
then so you're not the kind of the kind of bad part about that is when you go out into the world, that's not necessarily how everybody looks at things. And you have to
Okay.
be aware that there can be unfortunate consequences. I guess I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but
Oh no, no, that's not a
uh,
consequence. That's some ignorant bastard. That ain't
but
the
yeah,
same. And I
yeah.
wish we had been. I wish I was already in. Yeah, that pick
But
me
yeah,
next.
so
Yeah.
it made me more aware. So I was kind of glad that it happened in the sense, not that I enjoyed anything that happened, but that it made me aware that there are differences in the world,
For sure.
right? But it also made me aware that growing up and moving forward in my life, that things can be challenging just by being me and just by being with the person I love. We tend to be able, like, you have to be more aware and more aware of some of the places that you go.
Okay.
Um, it I feel like maybe you could relate a little bit, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but um, just like, you don't want to hold a person's hand because you don't want to, at least for her and I, you don't want to feel like your life could be in danger, um, because of some ignorant asshole,
Oh,
or
well, that
and
I get that. Yes, yes, very much so. But I'm the my wife helps me with stuff like this because I I got a problem with being afraid. That's my number one fear is being afraid, especially of another human. That I'm I'm getting better. I hope. I think. As, I think that as opposed to in my younger years when we first met each other, I
mhm.
was very much reactionary. You
Yes,
did something, I react.
yes, very
Now,
quickly.
I just want to make sure that you meant what you did. But the the as the older I get, and obviously I have two boys and a daughter, I'm a lot more measured and making sure I respond instead of reacting first. Because not because I'm afraid of what they'll do, I'm afraid of what I'm willing to do. So Yes, to that point, there being aware of who's around, what's around, kind of walking into places with your eyes on the back door.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm 100% with you on there.
Yeah. I think, it's things are a lot better than, they were 10 years ago.
For sure, for sure.
I mean, the, Kelly and I have been together for, oh Lord, if I get this wrong, I'm in big
Oh, don't
trouble.
blow this. Don't blow. Am I gonna have to edit? Am I gonna have to? Don't blow this. Come on.
We've been together for 12 years, but have only been married for 7, and that was because that's what we could legally get married. So things have definitely changed just within the last decade.
Right.
So every day gets better. I don't know if I would necessarily say fear, in the sense that, I think I'm kind of in line with you. It's I'm more concerned for the safety of my family,
Right.
and I want to be around for my family. I don't want to be in jail.
Right. Prison. It'll be prison.
I wouldn't do well in jail. Kelly tells me all the time I drop the soap too much. So
Yes. Look, this is not made for jail. This here. Nope.
So yeah, I mean, things have definitely changed, and that's pretty amazing. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with people being a lot more open-minded, a lot more educated.
Yes. Myself included.
Yeah.
Myself included.
We learn something new every day, even as long as your eyes are open and you're willing to kind of intake that information, then yeah. And I am loving it. You being one of my teachers, for me in life, just some of the things that you say on a daily basis is inspirational in some level. But it's also weird sometimes coming from you.
Because you've known me through this whole journey.
Yes.
That's why.
It is like what you're saying, where you were very reactionary, and you kind of went from 0 to 60 and not even a second, probably like 0.2, to being this great grown-up man, so involved in life, in your children's life. It's pretty amazing to see and watch, and have had the privilege to kind of watch you grow, and be along there with you, growing and learning. So thank you for
appreciate
that.
Thank you. Wow, you got me going here. Let me get my stuff back together here. I'm lock in for the host part of this thing. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. More than you could probably know, just in general, because I know you know. I know you know. The long journey that I have been on to self understanding and regulation and all these types and healing and all these types of things. So I genuinely appreciate that. I talked to a friend of mine a couple of days ago about that very thing. He's like, now, how is it that, to your point, like this reckless, outgoing, like go getting whatever, oh, that's a problem. Like we were talking about fighting a bear, which I'm willing to do for my kids. It's not even debatable.
The question? What? I'm sorry.
Right, like that. there's no debate there. But that's that same human that I was then. It still pays rent in here now. It's just aimed. It's just purpose filled. It's just going. It has to be good. It has to be moving forward, and it's not just people on the street watching me. It's my boys and my daughter. Like she's going out into the world later on, and she's going to find me. You know what I mean? Like when she gets ready to settle down or get married or whatever, she's going to find a guy that treats her like her dad did. She's going to, my boys are going to, you know what I'm saying? Like once that occurred to me, I recognized that I had a lot more responsibility in how I carried myself and how I operated in the world more than just myself. So I genuinely appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you do a pretty good job. I mean, you know.
I do. I mean, yeah, I do. Okay.
I don't have that luxury in the sense that I have I don't have a son or a daughter or children, but I am the aunt of all. You know,
Yes.
your kids. Um, my I have my sister's boys, my brother's kids. I'm kind of the aunt who gets the late night text and questions and so kind of being able to model a life that not only am I proud of, but I'm proud to share with kind of the next generation.
Right.
At least for me, like for you, it's you're sharing with your children who are the next generation. But for me, it's sharing with the next generation. That just happens to be within my family.
All of
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah. But and ultimately, because this world is so messed up right now, to hopefully, help make the world a better place, even if it's one little molecule at a time, baby steps per se, but to have some part of that is it makes you kind of focus and gear yourself instead of kind of just being wild.
Absolutely wild and let's call it what it was. Like
But
absolutely
to
wild
be a
and ridiculous.
firecracker, that's
Yes.
what you where you lit the fuse and stand back
Oh, we're
and
going. Oh, we're
yeah.
going.
It's gonna be a great show, but you're gonna need to stand back. Um, and so now it's still a great show, but it's nice to see that you're kind of pointing the firework instead of
Yes.
just
Just
letting it go.
letting it roll, right?
Yeah.
Let's what tell me about college. How was college for you? Like as far as was that a great experience? Was that just, kind of getting out of the house for the first time? What was that like for you?
Uh, so I didn't do well in college. I actually never finished. I don't know if you ever knew that.
I did not know that.
I didn't. I hated school. Um, I really did.
What
I
about, I
think
mean, not for nothing. What about school did you, because I know you are well read. I
yeah.
know, you know what I mean? Like it's like, was it this, it's not the structure because you are highly disciplined. So what, I
Uh,
don't understand.
it honestly it was a lot of it had to do with the teachers.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I think because I look at the difference. For me, I kind of consider myself self-educated in the sense where I do read up on things and um, I do like to know a lot. I like to gather information. Whereas like someone like my wife Kelly, who has a PhD and went the long game.
She has so many letters behind her name that
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
anything to do with her name.
yeah. 6 letters, I think, at this point. Um,
4-6 letters. Like what?
um, but she had great teachers, and that's kind of the difference. I think teachers today need to kind of hear me out. You know, one of the biggest things, and I think they're actually still on kind of that structure, is that everybody learns differently. And you and I talked about this earlier. We're kind of hands on,
Yes.
and I've always been that way, very hands on. Not I wasn't ever really great at tests. I mean, I could pass them, but if you'd have given it to me orally, I probably would have been way better. Um,
Okay.
but I just didn't enjoy the learning process. Um, I did try to go to school, and it didn't work. The partying was great.
It was
Um,
dope. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, that was a great life education. A lot of things that I would never do again if given the
Right.
chance.
And hey, we're gonna get to the part where you met me, so we can take the no.
But I think for me, I enjoyed life and work because I worked in restaurants, bars, and I think for me, with ever since I was a child, I wanted to own my own restaurant.
Okay.
So for me, once I got into that kind of world, um, going to school and learning kind of your basic, the dreadful English 101 and
Right.
your basic courses, they weren't as important to me as getting kind of that real life education.
Right.
And so I ended up, sitting down with my parents at a Waffle House and saying, um, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I would rather do life. Maybe one day I'll go back. But yeah, it was. I think that's a tough thing for kids to do.
Yeah.
I am 100%, by the way, for education. If that's right for you, if that's the path for you. But for me, the decision was that I wanted to kind of stay on that path, that I would make my world into the restaurants. And so I was kind of, full steam ahead on that road. So school didn't seem like the right path to get where I wanted to be.
Right.
You know, if I could do it now, which we're in talks of, I would go back, but I have, a different career path. So
Okay.
education would seem a little bit more important to me to kind of further that career. But at the time, it just wasn't right. And I think my experience in high school is what made it a lot easier to make that choice. Um,
Okay.
I enjoyed the extracurricular of high school, the sports and the hanging out with your friends, and I kept the grades where they needed to be so that I could continue doing those things, but
Right.
it wasn't fun. And I think if people would make education fun, you'd have less people like me, um, who just end up going and saying, "Nah, no." So surprise, I didn't finish, um, but I got one hell of an education, um, in life, with restaurants and bars and meeting you.
Yes. 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 And then later on, subsequently recruiting me to be a part of your family.
I I disagree with that
I
statement.
don't see how. I'm gonna lay it out for you, and you absolutely correct me if I'm wrong, because this is exactly
Okay.
how it happened. And my wife, right? Like, she calls you and asks you if you know me.
Yep. Yep. Hmm.
You had an opportunity there to either A, tell the unfettered doctrine that is who I am,
Hmm.
or just skim over the top. you you want to talk about seeing somebody for what they can be, not necessarily what they are. You told her that he's very passionate, he is a very nice guy, he will give you the shirt off his back,
Yep.
and
There was
the
more.
rest. I wasn't on the phone, so I can't. I only got the you
there,
might have
there
told it.
was more.
Hit me.
I did throw warnings in there. I did. But I,
No, now I not. No, I have to know. Where's the kid? Give me the tea. Hit it. Because she didn't. That, I'll call her in here right now. She was in there lying. What she said. Now, what was
no,
said?
well, I never said, oh, goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
I plead the fifth. I think I might have mentioned how you might have been a little bit of a player.
Fair.
But again, I kind of threw like the like little sprinkles of bad truth, but then cushioned it with, but he's kind of a player, but maybe it's just because he hasn't met the right person,
There you go.
and
talk about truth.
yeah. And I think I did mention that you were a bit of a firecracker.
Hey, the truth's
But
the truth.
And I do know that I did say to be careful, for both of you. Knowing Dawn, who's a very passionate person herself and emotional person, and then knowing you for the same very passionate person, that I think a little bit of me was like, okay, well, here's the light, and the light, and here's the fuse. If we put it together, is it going to explode? Or is it gonna, yeah, it really was kind of and I know that there was probably some rockiness. And I have to say, I have to be pretty truthful that yes, I probably did recruit, because I was I was in the game of poker, I was betting on you. I mean, I was throwing those cards down, and I think there were times where she called me and she'd be like, I don't know about this. This guy's crazy.
You're not wrong.
And yeah, and for me, I was like, but I'd be like, but have you lit the fuse completely? I mean, because I think you should just, you need to open your mind a little bit more. And
Yes, yes.
So yes, I think, yeah, I was, I had pocket J's, and I was all in, and I needed Dawn to go with it. So
there you go. Hey,
so, yeah,
I know. Go get it. Yes.
Yeah. No. Just keep pushing. And then, yeah, the story from there. So
that is great. Yes, and I love it.
I think you shocked the world, though.
I did, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. Like, for real, a lot of people lost a lot of money on that one, because to completely candid, completely honest, I had no intentions of marrying anybody ever. That was, or having children or so forth. Like I looked at it exactly. My wife knows all this stuff. I looked at it like, if I wanted somebody else's opinion about what my choices were going to be, then I would have been born two people. Like, I had no interest in any of that. And to your earlier point, like, once you don't know what you're missing until it arrives.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what it was. It has been a hell of a journey. It's been one filled with love and admiration and respect, and there's been turmoil and challenges along with it and everything else. But I'm here for every bit of it. I wouldn't do it any other way with anybody else. Like, it's blood in, blood out. Like, we're gonna die this way. So it's just how it is. But no, I'm with you. And that's what I felt like. And nobody actually knows this. That's exactly what I felt like. Once someone vouches for you, like, obviously I got the sprinkled version. So I'm like, oh, no, it was me the whole time. No, I got the sprinkled version. But having someone believe in you when you're not is so much that liberation that we talked about in a lot of different way, but from your grandmother, like that very same thing, where you just be you. If you find someone that can deal with you the way that you are, you will, whether it's osmosis, whether it's love and nurturing, whatever, you will become exactly what I see. I promise you will. If you stay on this and you stay on the course, and you're trying to get better, and you're trying to make the right choices, and you're doing the things for the right reasons. And I think about that, and I talk to the boss every day about that. Like, it matters to me that my wife, and, well, then obviously my girlfriend, whatever, like, you believed in me when there was no reason to. So every morning I wake up, every night I go to sleep for the 10 minutes I get. I try to pay all that back. I do not live in revisionist history. I know exactly who I have been my entire life. So it's not lost on me that somebody, to your wagering comment, yes, somebody bet the house on me, and it was a long shot. And I'm trying to make sure every single day I have breath that I'm paying it off.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, at least for me, was uh, it's kind of like, you hear the stories of those people that get portraits, right? And their
Right.
family does a portrait, and it's this beautiful portrait, and then they have themselves and they do it, and it's just kind of this mediocre, and they realize that their family sees them in a different light. Well, it's kind of the same for me in terms for you is, I saw this person who, yes, was passionate and explosive, right? Um, and mind blowing, right? You were just, and you kind of, you have to respect that when a person is just in your face, like, this is me, you like it, you don't like it, I don't give a shit, like, take it or leave it. And
Yep.
there's, honestly, there's few people who are like that, but when you can see that deep down to your core, you are genuinely a, a great man, a great person. Uh, why wouldn't I back that? Why wouldn't I go all in? And I think it should be a compliment to you that I would say to someone who was basically a baby sister to me, um, you know, if you're willing to put in the work, because he's going to be work, um,
Yes.
yeah, the outcome is going to be amazing for both of you. And to see that now is and to have you in my life, um, as actual family. Like, it's not just, you and I talking, or we are actually family now. And
I got sworn in and everything. It was great. I love it.
You signed the big book.
Yep.
So, you don't, we're a big family, and we love a lot of people, but, uh, there's only a few that really get into that gate and, get that okay. Like, hey, you're allowed to come in. You're allowed to be a part of this. You're allowed to be a part of this craziness, because you have to be a little crazy.
Yes.
You have to be a little crazy to be a part of it. So, or a lot crazy. And
Yes.
so, yeah. And if you're not, you're going to be that way. So, so the door was open, and you made the choice to walk right through and not look back. And that's awesome. Especially walking into a giant family of crazy people.
Highly loving,
Yes.
highly demanding, absolute nuts. And I
Yes.
love every single one of them. And
Yes.
they are all those things. And but even to like I said, like I referred to it earlier, I always call it the front gate. It's the uncles, like,
Yeah.
if they don't like you, like, leave.
Yeah.
You should leave.
Don't
There's
do it.
nothing.
Don't.
There's
Don't.
nothing you can do.
No. It's like the never ending story. Like, they're gonna shoot, crazy lasers at you or something. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but that was back then, that was a crazy journey for both of us. Um, props up to Jillian's back in the day.
Shout out Jillian's.
Shout out to Jillian, to all our Jillian's crew.
Yes.
Taiwan, I know you're probably out
Yeah,
there.
he was. Yeah, I'm sure he's watching.
So yeah, I mean, that was a life, and one that I absolutely loved.
I did too. Like, I mean, I know what it sounds like because I'm listening to it too. But I was recruited to come to Jillian's too. Like, I feel like I was meant to be in your family. Did you set this all up? But the I was working at Lone Star, and Chaz and Curry came in, and it was a Sunday. They were having some cocktails, and Curry was like, "Well, hey, give me a number." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Just give me a number. You've been waiting on us all day. You know what I mean? Like, give me a number that is going to take for you to leave here and come work with me?
Yeah.
And of course, I say something completely ridiculous that the industry didn't, like anybody. I'm going to stay where I'm at, right? Uh, he was like, no problem, and I'll add something to it. Come see me Tuesday.
Yeah.
You start Thursday. Wait, what?
Yeah,
Just like that.
yeah. It was hard to say no to Jillian's. Yeah, to Chas and that whole crew. Wow. Yeah, it that's a bubble. That was a bubble of amazing people.
Yes.
Uh, and amazing times. It was a complete dysfunctional family. um,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. We were,
um,
but we were all just off center. Everybody was
yeah.
just off center. That's all. That's the best way I can describe it. Like everybody was really loving and cared about each other. We do it. We partied together. We hung
Oh
out
yeah.
together. We worked together. But everybody was just off center. So
Yeah.
it just worked. It just worked. We were like the Adams family. We were
Yeah. Oh yeah.
just just a little just
Yeah, but it it kind of catapulted me into that again into that path of restaurants and um, moving forward. Ultimately trying to get to a goal that I had. Chas being, I think she's always been kind of um, the mom cheerleader for us.
right. Right. To this day.
Yeah,
To
to this day.
to this day.
She kind of pushed me in the direction of management. She gave me the confidence that I could do it, more than I already had. She was like, "No, you just need to go," and she kind of made it happen, which sent me down to Columbia, South Carolina, as my first management job, and uh, that was awesome, amazing. I met some amazing people. Fortunately, Jillian and Raleigh didn't last much longer after that, and Chas.
It was because you left,
Yeah,
obviously.
well, and Chas made her way down to me. Um, so I think she did that to keep an eye on me, but yeah, and I kind of kept going from there. I went, got a little homesick, came back to the Raleigh area, and kind of continued on that path. And um, thankfully, I met my wife, um, and was still planning to stay on that path of restaurants and making it to the general manager to district manager, kind of doing that steps until really until you get money or backings to do your own. And everything changed. I met Kelly and we started our life together, and she did not like the restaurants. She liked the food. Uh,
But there is, and for those of you that don't know, like there really is a different lifestyle that comes with working in the food service industry. No matter whether you're a hostess, bartender, whatever it is, your manager, whatever. Like you're always working, even though you're
yeah,
not at work all the time. So, like even
yeah,
your social life kind of propagates around going either into the restaurant or hanging out with people from the restaurant or going to a place that also like you have service industry nights and so forth that
oh yeah,
like there's it's like an entire lifestyle that goes into
yeah.
that.
It's a world of its own, and you're right. I mean, you can't really go anywhere without seeing or knowing people, and um, and then you add the late hours on top of that.
Yep.
Um, where you're depending on what type of restaurant or bar you're in, it can be 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning to, or when I met Kelly, it was usually 1 o'clock in the morning. So I was, no longer in the bars. I was more just in the restaurants. But, it got to the point where I had to look at what was more important to me.
Right.
And I felt like it was okay. Like it was okay to look at different options. And so that I can make not only myself happy,
Right.
but now I also have this other person that, we have to coexist. And if we can't do that, we were like passing ships in the night, it's like high-fiving, where, it's hard. That's a hard life and a hard lifestyle to do. So I made the decision to stop, and I chose her over that particular career path. And because I knew that I could do something else.
Right.
And she also gave me the courage, helped, I guess, give me the courage to do that, and to move, and to be that cheerleader every day, and say, you've got this. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be whoever you want to be, because you're good enough. You're smart enough, and I think she's my biggest advocate in that, where don't tell her that I can't do something, even if I say I can't do it.
You're like, I can't. No, I can't do that. You're a lie. What?
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna be like, no, yes, you can, and this is why. So I think having somebody in your corner to do that, and to make something that was really a huge change for me, not seem so huge.
Right.
You get lucky with that. You get blessed with that, and I did. I kind of eyes wide open said, "Fuck it, let's try something else." And it took a while. I actually tried to be a police officer.
I did not know this. Why did I not
Yeah,
know this? Nobody told me this.
I tried to be a police officer for the Durham Police Department.
Okay.
And that didn't work out. Their loss.
Agree. Fully agree. Shout out DPD.
Right. Love you guys. But again, it was just kind of, I can do this. And then when things didn't work out, it was like, okay, well, it wasn't me, so I'm gonna go. It wasn't my fault.
No.
So
no.
I'm gonna
I'm
go
not
to
turning
the
down. I had to turn down my awesome just to come up there. You
Right.
messing with me now? What?
So but we talked about it, and so the career path that I do now, it's similar in the idea of kind of being a helper, like it's a manager, right?
Right.
You're helping your team, right? Mm-hmm. You're the boss, but you're helping your team out. And going into administration, I don't have to be the boss, which is kind of nice.
Okay.
But I'm still helping my team, even at the, kind of the lowest level, in the sense, I'm still making an impact, and in a less stressful way, less stressful right. manner, so that, and I'm still dealing with people. I'm still getting that, that interaction, which I enjoy. Not a lot of people do, but I do. But I think the idea of being able to help someone succeed, mm-hmm. At their highest level, it's a great feeling. Even, something as simple as organizing their desk. It's it's simple to me, but to watch them be able to kind of improve and go forward, it's nice.
Do
And
you
I'm not
feel?
getting yelled at
Oh,
because your French fries are cold.
because
Uh,
yes, I got a ticket time, and that, yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
so I don't miss that at all.
no, and shout out to the service industry folks. Good
Yeah.
gracious, trust me, we know. Um, the a lot of the successes and where you find yourself currently in your life and your marriage and so forth, I feel like the overall theme, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, is stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Big time for me.
Right.
Uh, you know, um, the career change, as well as I have mentioned this to you and to most of my family at this point. My wife is in the military. She's a Navy officer, and not a life that I wanted to live, um, or I thought I didn't want to live, I guess, or be a part of. And it wasn't that there's anything wrong with military, obviously, um, but my father was Navy. Have those uncles that you talk about, and aunts, and many brothers who've all kind of done that path, and I've seen the hardships on those families, and I wasn't prepared to do that. I didn't want to do that. I was not going to feel like I could manage that I could mentally handle that. Um, and it took my father um, to kind of tell me to shut up, basically. um, because he again, was one of those people that's like, no, he sees you for what you can be, and he did. And there was one point. Oh, Kelly and I were taking a walk, and she told me she wanted to join the Navy, and I looked at her and said, "Have fun." Um, um,
I love you. That's some that's some yeah. That, hey, I already
uh,
told you what it was gonna be over here. So yep,
yeah, and
enjoy that.
like, I'll see you around, maybe. And I don't think she was expecting that. I think she was expecting, obviously, for me to be gung ho about it.
Right.
Um, and then, no, I literally looked at her and said, "Have fun," and walked away from her. Took my dog and walked. And then I sat down with my dad, and I was like, "Dad, I don't know what to do. She wants to join the Navy, and I just told myself I could never do that life." And my dad said, "Well, do you love her?" And I said, obviously, I was like, "Yes, more than anything." And he said, "Well, there's your answer, kiddo. Um, you know, a lot of times you do things, you step out of those zones for the people that you love, and I think it made me um, sit there and go, what's life like? What would life be for me without this person, without my person?
Right.
Um, and is it really worth it? Is it, you know, is it really worth it to walk away? And you have that moment where you sit there and you kind of analyze your life and go, do I really want to do this without that person? Do I really want to move forward in life without that person? And I didn't. Um, and then I told her, let's go for it. But um, I didn't want to live in California. So, bless my wife, she came home after she signed those papers saying that we were in the Navy,
This is awkward.
that we were moving to San Diego, California.
Yeah.
So stepping out of those comfort zones, big time for me. Packed up everything, and there was a lot of bad stuff going on in the family, but to pack up and move cross country away from everybody, my friends, my family. I think you guys were already on the West Coast at that point.
Yeah, we were already in Washington at
In
that point.
Washington, but you're away from everybody, and I left a job that, excuse me, I really enjoyed. Had actually been offered a promotion and had to turn it down because we were moving, and to pick up everything and go to the unknown
Right.
with no job, no family, no friends, with just my wife. So yeah, that's a comfort zone not many people will do. Um, and it was hard. It was a very hard first year. Um, you guys came to visit, and that was nice. That was good to have that family. Um, but it took a while for me to kind of find my place, um, and get used to that mill spouse life. She would be gone, most of the day, and then then she gets deployed after being told that the likelihood of her getting deployed was not going to happen.
Right.
By the way,
At least they say the same thing in all the branches. Nice.
yeah, and they're like, oh, she's a scientist, she'll never get deployed. And yeah, and then she tells me she's getting deployed for, it was only 6 months, but imagine again being somewhere where you don't really know anybody, and you're not really settled in on a job or career path, and then you don't have your person there with you. It's hard. It's a challenge. Um, but I I was up for it. I knew that one, um, it made Kelly and I stronger, to kind of be away from the chaos of everything and really kind of be able to focus on us. Um, and so being able to have that first and then her go on deployment, I felt like that foundation was solid, right?
Right. I'm with
So
you there.
you
God, good
have that
grief. I didn't realize all the parallels. Gosh.
you have that solid foundation, then you're okay, right? Because no matter if you go really far up or down like that, your foundation is there. And so I was confident in that, and we made it through. And then as soon as I got happy and comfortable and uh, on a good path, here comes the Navy. And
Where's that rug? Where's that rug? We can snatch it. Where's that rug so we can snatch
yeah,
that?
and sent us back on the East Coast. So
I'm still pissed at that.
yeah, you and me both.
I'm still salty at that.
Um,
But even our the parallels with you, obviously Dawn and I moved to Washington first, but it was the same thing, and I stand by this. Her and I have talked about this at length. The fact that we were forced to only have each other made our relationship, our marriage, our bond, our everything, like it galvanized everything because there was nowhere to go. Like if
yeah,
there was a disagreement or there was some upheaval, well, I still have to talk to you. I still have to I have to figure this out with you. Like there's no
yeah,
other, I can't run to my grandmother's house, or you can't run to your mom. So there's nowhere for you to go but stand here and deal with whatever it is. And I think there's a tremendous value to that.
oh, there is. There definitely is. Yeah, and you just keep, I I've learned that I don't have a comfort zone anymore. It's
I
you
thought
know
I did. I keep getting told I don't. So
well, I think living the life of never knowing when we're gonna have to go, or when she's gonna have to go, or um, you know never knowing that, I think you just can't have a comfort zone, other because you would be constantly stepping out of it, um, and I think knowing that now has made it so that I can embrace change a lot faster.
Right.
You know, and there's still those struggles, there's still those hiccups, you know, where I kind of, you sit there and go, God, you know, I really wish I could have those roots, and live the normal life per se. But then you realize that your roots are the person. It's us as a couple, and that's our roots. So
Yep.
it's we just branch out to different places, and so I think kind of stepping out of the comfort zone for me is basically getting rid of the comfort zone, um, and just not having it at all. Um, and it's made life interesting.
Well, it becomes an adventure, right? Like everything is now an adventure, and to your point, you can't actually settle yourself because you know something's coming. Whether it, you know what I mean, whether it's orders, whether it's whatever, like you know
Yeah.
something's coming, so you're always ready.
Yeah, I think you realize that if you start to feel like you're settling, uh, then yes, the rug is going to be slipped out from underneath you,
Yep.
and so you just kind of, it's kind of like having your guard up, right? You're just like, okay, when is it coming? What is coming? Um, and so it's interesting, but you know, um, it's an adventure, and it's I don't I hope we don't do it for forever. Um, but and that one day I will get to, maybe when I'm old and gray, and we do get to put those actual roots down in the ground somewhere. Hopefully the West Coast. Um,
I'm rooting for the West Coast because I'm
yeah,
never going back to the East Coast, so I'm
um,
rooting for it.
yeah, you know, but until then, you know, live the life of a daily journey of just different stuff. And you know, I've got a new job now,
Hmm.
um, with um, a research, we'll say a research government agency.
There you go. That's good enough. You get it.
um,
Yes.
and it means a lot to me. Um, it's even to as Kelly as a scientist, and does a lot of stuff with the things that are going on with COVID, and things like that. And even before that, she did um, cardiology, medications, and cancer research after that, and now to do the things she's doing. So being in the new position that I'm at now, it kind of actually aligns us to that we're both kind of doing um, those beneficial things for the world, or for at least for the U.S. Um,
Right.
uh, Me on a much lower level, but you know, it's really rewarding, um, and I think that's and it's something that makes us both proud, um, especially with everything that's going on in the world, and just this past year being horrible for not only for my family but for a lot of people out there.
Yes.
Uh, and it's been a rough year, and to be able to make an impact even on a small level is it's rewarding, or at least for me it is. And I hope that for me, I hope that my family's proud. I hope that uh, you know, my dad, who isn't with us anymore, I hope he's proud, because I feel like maybe he played a little bit of a role in that,
Right.
into my transition, because he kept telling me to push and push and push. And so I did. um, so yeah, it's amazing. It started. Oh shoot, I just finished my second week.
Okay.
Virtual training is hard. But again, it's like we were saying with the stepping out of your comfort zone. It's different for me. The training, the learning is harder
Okay.
because I am very much hands on. But I know that I can do it, and I know that if I need help, I'm no longer afraid to ask for it.
Right.
And I also feel like I know where to ask for it.
Well, yes,
So,
yes.
So I mean, it helps that I'm married to a professor, but
I mean, good. Yes, it's good gracious. It's, I I know I get it. I joke a lot and whatever, but after the end of her name, she has more letters than the alphabet. So she's on top of her stuff there.
yeah, smart cookie.
Yes. What are the next? What's the next steps? What are the next things? Obviously, you can't know being a military spouse and so forth. But what do you hope comes out of 2021 and all these types of things moving forward for you guys?
You know, um, I hope to. Um, I really hope to kind of stay with this job for a while. We're in the DC area, so and unfortunate for you guys, but the likelihood of Kelly being stationed in this area for a prolonged period of time is pretty high. So I'm kind of hoping that I get the opportunity now um, to actually have longevity in one place and one career path instead of bouncing every
Right.
2 years or 3 years. So I'm really kind of hoping for that, and she's on board 100% with that. You know, she can tell you that I've been there for her 100%. Her career is priority. Um, but I joke and I say that it is because she spent over a decade at college.
Right.
So I feel like we should make that a priority.
I mean, I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now she feels like because of where we are and her progression with her career, that we're going to be in the area for a little while. So she's like, just go for it. Kind of see how far you can go, and she goes, before you know it, you'll be, head of that lab or
Yes.
something like that. And honestly, she makes the sacrifice. I mean, even now, right now everybody's kind of teleworking, but even now, if she was to go back to work, she would be commuting over an hour, just so that I can stay in my new position, and get that time. So kind of making that sacrifice, and so yeah, I think for the future for us is to let me be able to grow my side. Now it's like she's kind of where she wants to be at the moment,
Right.
and there's really, she just promoted to the next rank. So we got a little bit of time before that next level. So I think for her, she's like, look, we got the time, let's focus on you. And so that's kind of where we're going. We're moving with focusing on kind of my life, my career, not my life, but
No, I'm with you.
my
I'm with you because
my
and a
career.
lot of times what ends up happening, right? Like in any marriage, relationship, whatever, is you get accustomed to doing it one way. And
Yeah.
then what I found anyway, the either it runs its course or someone needs it to change. So then you have to come to the table and have another, another caucus and conversation about it. And like the fact that you guys are kind of just organically moving through it, even the hour uh, commute, like that's tremendous. A lot of people wouldn't do that. Like that speaks to how the level of esteem she holds you in. Like obviously, you're married and so forth. She loves you, but there's a level of respect that goes where people really just don't get it. Like you can love somebody and not have a whole lot of respect for them, so you're not moving a bunch of things around to make sure that their side of the deal is what they want it to be, and so forth and so on. Like I think there's a lot of tremendous value in that. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, in just in the last year, it's been really hard. I lost my father, um, and then it might sound silly to a lot of people, but I lost my dog a couple months after I lost my father. Um, so it was, and then even before that, I had lost an uncle, all within 2020. So it was a lot of stuff that happened, and you know I think for her it was a way to help me in a sense, like ease kind of, I guess, kind of ease my pain, like give me a little, like give me a branch, you
Right.
know as I talk about how one day I would like to settle. Well, I think for her it was, well, I can't give you that right now, that full settledness, but I can give you a branch. And um, I think just in the last year with the battle of everything that went on, and her seeing kind of what we were going through as a couple, not
Right.
um, I think she realized that if I can give her a branch, I'm going to do it, and she did that. And so that's why I feel like within the next, hopefully 3 years, um, I really get that chance to grow, um, to grow a little bit on my side. Um, I've been kind of fertilizing her side, and
Oh, right.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
watering that side, and now she's in a place where it's like, okay, now let's work on you, and it's kind of your time. So moving forward with that, and a lot of good things are happening. We bought a place. uh we joke, we were homeowners before we were 40. um and and we enjoy that aspect. Even though you get a lot of crap when you buy a house, but that was a big step for us.
Oh, for sure.
So we kept moving in kind of those good directions. And um we bought a place, and um she got promoted, and I got the new job. So it's a lot of good things that are happening, and continuing to move forward. And even though there are tragedies and life, happening, you,
Yeah.
you you just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep moving forward, and try to focus as much as you can, kind of on the positive. Don't and I always tell people, I'm like, don't necessarily not feel or have those negatives, those thoughts. You can have those, you can. I think it's healthy to have those, and to let them in. But then you've got to really kind of focus on those positives, and to keep yourself in that forward motion. um, and I focus a lot on that lately, is
Good.
moving in that forward motion, and focusing on those positives. Even though right now, I think with us being quarantined, and
Hmm.
everybody kind of staying indoors, it's sometimes it feels like you're grasping. But I'd rather do that than become an alcoholic. So
Right. Right. Throw your hands up and get
yeah,
right. Like you, I'm with you. You have to find. I call it your patch of grass. You got to find your patch of grass and just sit in it. And this makes me happy. This is what I'm going to do. And there's a lot of mental health relaxation and kind of finding yourself in that too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's big right now. Mental health. I think that's big for everybody. I know you and I talked about it kind of before this, but to everybody out there, like just keep trying to go for it and find whatever it is. Like you said, find that patch of grass or um, um, ray of sunshine, whatever it may be, because we're gonna get through all of this crap.
Yes.
It one day, it may take longer than what people initially think, but things will get back to I won't say normal, but they'll get better.
Yes.
And and I think not being afraid to reach out, like what we're doing right now, and reach out to people and talk to people, and because nobody likes being stuck inside. Nobody likes these kids who are virtual learning. I mean, props to you and all those other parents out there that are trying to do this stuff.
Teachers are the best.
Yes.
Teachers are the best. I'm sorry for all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, just take a glass of wine or soda or whatever it may be, and reach out to that friend or that foe or whatever, and talk it out, bitch it out, vent it out, and be thankful that you wake up the next day happy and healthy.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now, and I hope a lot of people are trying to go through is, there's a lot of people who won't wake up and be a part of the day. So count your blessings. They say, what is it? I'm thankful for everything that I have. But I'm also thankful for everything that I had.
Yeah.
So that's what it's about right now. And I think with everything that's going on, everybody in the world is really starting to focus on that. So,
and myself included, myself very much included. Well, Jesi, I mean, you already know this, but I love you and thank you. Thank you for coming on to the show. I genuinely appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I do love you, and I'm sorry if I rambled a little too much.
What are you talking about?
But
this is catharsis.
The butterflies went away. So
there you go. No, let them fly. Get them going. Yeah. And no, I appreciate you guys more than I really believe I can articulate. We have a history, and it has been quite a journey. I look forward to what's next.
Yes.
Thank you guys. This has been another edition of From the Root to the Fruit. I've been Jay. That was Jesi. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. You guys take care of each other. Peace.